Let's make a corner bookmark together. I'm using a 3.5mm crochet hook, and I am using some beautiful rebound yarn. It is from Lion Brand. It is discontinued, however, but I did get this from Amazon. It is a size 4 medium weight yarn. However, I believe it's like a 2. It's 100% nylon. It's super soft. And to begin, we're just going to go ahead and start with a slip knot. So I'm going to take my yarn. Whoops. Sorry guys, I thought I was all set. And we want to make our slip knot. So however you like to make your slip knot, there are several different ways. This is one of the ways I like to do it, is I hold my yarn. This is my working yarn. This is my tail. I just have them together like this. And at the top there's a loop. So I just put my fingers into the loop at the top and I twist. And then I grab that working yarn and I pull it through the top there to create that nice little slip knot. Then I insert my crochet hook, and then I just kind of pinch down here, and then I grab that working yarn to close that slip knot to make it the same size as the crochet hook neck. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 5. However, I like to do an I-cord when it's something like this, a little project like this. This way I don't have to weave in my tail later. However, if you're not comfortable doing an I-cord, you can just chain 5 and join with a slip stitch to create a ring. So if you want to do an I-cord, go ahead and follow me. You're going to take your tail and put it around your crochet hook so you have 2 loops on your hook. And then just go ahead and pinch at the bottom there now. Grab your yarn and pull it through both loops. So that's 1. Take your tail again and go over your hook. You still have 2 loops on your hook again. Yarn over and go through both of those loops. That's 2. Again, take that tail, bring it over your hook. 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through both of those loops. That's 3. Again, take that tail, yarn over and go through both of those loops. That's 4. And one more time, take that tail, go over your hook. You have 2 loops, yarn over and go through both of them. And that is 5, and that's what we wanted. So I'm just going to take out that little hook, but I'm going to pull up my loop so I don't lose that stitch. And you can see you have 5 stitches there. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert my crochet hook into that first stitch that we did. And then I'm going to insert my hook into that loop and pull on my working yarn to make that loop smaller. And then we're going to join with a slip stitch like that to create a ring. And now we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That chain 4 is going to count as our first treble crochet. And now we're going to work two double crochets in the center of this ring. So yarn over, insert your hook into the center, yarn over, bring it through and up. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through the last 2. That's your first double crochet. We want to do 1 more double crochet in there. And now what we're going to do is chain 2. So 1 and 2. And then we're going to work 2 more double crochets in the center. So 1 and 2. If that tail is bothering you, you can weave it in, or if you already did the I-cord, you can just snip it off. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to work a treble crochet. So treble crochet, you're going to yarn over twice on your hook. 1, 2, insert your hook into the center, yarn over, bring that through and up. You have 4 loops on your hook. And now you're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. And now you're left with 3. You're going to yarn over and go through the next 2 loops. You're left with 2 loops on your hook. and you're going to yarn over and go through the last 2 loops, and that's your treble crochet. And now we're going to work 2 double crochets again in the center. So 1, 2, and then we're going to go ahead and work a chain of 2. 1, 2, and then 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. And now what we want to do is join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain for our first treble crochet that we did. So you can look here and count from the bottom up to do the 4th chain, or you can look at your first double crochet and you can see the top of your first double crochet is right here. So you can just go over here and you'll know that this is the 4th chain, and just insert your hook there and join with a slip stitch. And that's our round 1 for our corner bookmark. And now we're going to chain 4, and that's going to count as a treble crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to work 2 double crochets in that same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into that same stitch. Whoops. And work a double crochet and do it again. 1 more double crochet in there. So you just did a chain 4 and 2 double crochets into that same stitch. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work 5 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. So remember when we did earlier, we did a treble crochet, 2 double crochets, and then our chain 2. So we're going to go over here into this chain 2 space, and we're going to work 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, oops, that one got out. This is 3, 4, and that is 5. And now we're going to chain 1. Okay, so I did my 5 double crochets and I chained 1, and now we have 2 double crochets here and then our treble crochet. So we're going to be skipping those 2 double crochets and working right into this treble crochet. We're going to work 2 double crochets, a treble crochet, and 2 double crochets all into the same treble crochet right here. So we're going to work 2 double crochets first. So 1 and 2, and now we're going to work a treble crochet. So yarn over twice, insert your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, bring it up. You have 4 loops. Yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over again, go through the next 2, and yarn over again and go through the last 2. And now we're going to work 2 more double crochets in that same stitch. So 1 and 2, and then you're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 5 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. So we're going to skip those 2 double crochets there, and then here's our chain 2 space. We're going to work 5 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, this is 3, that's 4, and this is number 5. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 1. And then we're going to go ahead, and then in this stitch that we did our first treble crochet and 2 double crochets into, we're going to also work 2 double crochets into that same stitch. So right at the base there. So we're just going to skip over those last few stitches in the round and work at the base of the first stitch that we did and do 2 double crochets. So here's 1. And we have 1 more to do in there. And there's 2. And now we want to join to the top of that first treble crochet that we did. So you can either count up 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4, or you can look at the top of your double crochet and go over 1, whatever is easier for you. So right here is where I'm going to join with a slip stitch. So I insert my hook, yarn over, bring it through that stitch and through the loop on my hook. And that is round 2 of our bookmark, of our corner bookmark. So you should have 20 stitches and then 4 chain 1 spaces. And I'm going to go ahead and snip this off. Round 3, we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That counts as our first treble crochet. And then in that same joining stitch where we just chained 4 out of, we're going to work 2 double crochets in that same stitch. So this is 1. And this is 2. And now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. And then in this chain 1 space, we're going to work a half double crochet. So yarn over your hook, insert your hook into that chain 1 space, yarn over, bring it through and up. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and go through all 3 loops. And that is your half double crochet. And now we're going to chain 3 again. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to work a half double crochet into the 3rd stitch here. So we're going to skip the first 2 and work a half double crochet into that 3rd one. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to work a half double crochet. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches and work half double crochet in this chain 1 space. Oops, that one got away from me, so let's redo that one. Half double crochet into that chain 1 space. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. And then in this here treble crochet that we had done, we are going to work 2 double crochets, a treble crochet, and 2 double crochets. So we're going to work 2 doubles. So this is 1. This is 2. And now we want to work 1 treble. So yarn over twice, insert your hook in that same stitch, yarn over, bring it through and up. You have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over again, go through 2, yarn over again, and go through the last 2. And now we're going to work 2 more double crochets, all in that same stitch. So 1 and 2. and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip the next 2 and half double crochet into the next chain 1 space. And then we're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to skip the next 2 and we're going to work a half double crochet into the 3rd stitch there. And then we're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip those 2 and work a half double crochet into that chain space, that chain 1 space. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 3 again. 2 and 3. And then what we're going to do is right where we worked our chain 4 when we joined, we want to work our 2 double crochets into that same joining stitch, and then we're going to join to the top of that chain 4. So make sure you did your chain 3 and then work your 2 double crochets into the base where we began with our chain 4. So that's 1 and this is 2. And now you want to join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain 4. So you can count up 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then insert your hook and join with a slip stitch. And you should have 8 chain 3 spaces for that round. Round 4, we're going to chain 4, and that's going to count as your first treble crochet. 3 and 4. And then we're going to also work 2 double crochets into that same joining stitch. So 1 and 2. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then in this chain 3 space, we're going to work our half double crochet. And then we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to work a half double crochet into the next chain 3 space. Chain 3. And then a half double crochet into the next one, the next chain 3 space. Chain 3. And then another half double crochet into the next chain 3 space. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 3. And now we want to skip the next 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, and then in this here treble crochet, we're going to work 2 double crochets, a treble crochet, and 2 double crochets. Make sure you did your chain 3. So work 2 double crochets. So 1, oh, them little hairs, 2, and then a treble. Remember, wrap your yarn twice around your hook. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2, and then you're going to chain 3 again, and then you're going to half double crochet into this next chain 3 space. And you're going to chain 3 again, 2, 3, half double crochet in that next chain 3 space, chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then again half double crochet into that next one, that next chain 3 space, chain 3, and then make sure and half double crochet into that last chain 3 space. Make sure you do your chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then again at that base where we did our chain 4, we're going to work our last 2 double crochets. Make sure you did your chain 3 there, and now work your 2 double crochets at the base of that chain 4, 1 and 2, and now we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first chain 4 that we did. And you should have 14 chain 3 spaces. For rounds 5 and 6, we're going to do the same that we just did for round 4. So that's chaining 4, 3 and 4. That's counting as your first treble crochet, and then working your 2 double crochets into that same joining stitch, 1 and 2, chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, and then working a half double crochet into that chain 3 loop or space, and then chaining 3, 2, 3, and then half double crochet into the next one, chaining 3, a half double crochet into the next chain 3 loop or space, chain 3 again, half double crochet into the next space, chain 3, a half double crochet into the next one, chain 3, and now we come to that big group. Make sure you did your chain 3 there, and then in the middle there in that treble crochet, you're going to skip those first 2 doubles. You're going to work 2 double crochets, so 1, 2, and you're going to work 1 treble, so yarn over twice, and then 2 double crochets all into that same stitch, and then you're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then half double crochet into that next chain 3 loop or space, however you want to call it, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, half double crochet into the next one, chain 3, 2, 3, half double crochet into the next space, chain 3, half double crochet into the next space, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then half double crochet into that last space. Make sure you do your chain 3 at the end, 1, 2, 3, and then again your 2 double crochets at the base of that chain 4 where we did our first stitch of the round. So 1 and 2, and then you're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first chain 4 that we did right here, and then just repeat that round one more time, and I will see you guys back at the end of that round. Okay, so now for round 7 we're going to chain 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and of course that's going to count as our first treble crochet, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into that same joining stitch that our chain 4 came out of. So 1 and 2. And now we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet into this chain 3 space. So 1 double crochet, a chain 2, and a double crochet, all into that same chain 3 space. And then we're going to do that again into each of these chain 3 spaces. So we're just working a double crochet, a chain 2, and a double crochet into each chain 3 space until we get to that next corner. So double crochet into the next chain 3 space, chain 2, double crochet again in that same chain 3 space. In the next chain 3 space, we're working a double crochet, chaining 2, and working a double crochet, all in that same chain 3 space. Next chain 3 space, we're doing the same thing, double crocheting, chaining 2, and double crocheting. There's our next one. We're going to do the same thing, double crochet, we're chaining 2, and double crocheting. And there's our next one, double crocheting again, we're chaining 2, and we're working a double crochet again. And now we come to that nice big group with our treble crochet. So we're going to skip those 2 double crochets, and then in that treble crochet we're going to work 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2, and then we're going to work 1 treble crochet, so you yarn over twice, and we're doing this all in the same stitch there, and then 2 double crochets, and that's all in the same stitch. So we did 2 doubles, 1 treble, and 2 doubles. And now we're going to go in the next chain 3 space and work 1 double, chain 2, and then of course another double crochet. You can see the repetition that we're doing here. And then in the next one, chain 3 space, we're working a double crochet, chaining 2, and then again double crocheting. And then next one, same thing, double crochet, chaining 2, and double crocheting. And the next one, double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. And then in the next one, same thing, we're double crocheting, chaining 2, and then double crocheting. And then in the next chain 3 space, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. And then here's our last one. So you're going to do that double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. And that brings us back to the beginning. And then again, we're going to work our 2 double crochets at the base there of our chain 4 that we started at. So do your 2 double crochets there. So 1 and 2. Whoops. And then join with a slip stitch to the top of your first double or your first treble crochet that you did. And you should have a total of 14 chain 2 spaces. Round 8, we are going to start by slip stitching in between these two stitches. So right before your next double crochet in that space, you're going to work a slip stitch, and then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. That's going to count as a double crochet. And then in that same space, you're going to work 2 more double crochets. So 1 and 2. And now in the next space before the next double crochet, so here's the next double crochet, we're skipping this one, and here's the next one. We're just going to work a single crochet in between those two in this space. And then we're going to go right here to the center of this chain 2 space, and we're going to work 6 double crochets, all in the center of that chain 2 space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. And then in the next chain 2 space, we're just going to work a single crochet. In the next chain 2 space, we're going to work those 6 double crochets again. So 1, 2, 3, 5, and this is number 6. In the next chain 2 space, we're going to work our single crochet. In the next chain 2, we're going to work those 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoops, and 6. And then in the next chain 2 space, we're going to work our single crochet. And then in that last chain 2 space, we're going to work those 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. And then now we're going to go ahead and in the next space between the next 2 double crochets in this nice little grouping that we have here, we want to work in that space just a single crochet. And then in the next space right there, so right after this double crochet, in that space we're going to work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then in the next space, we're going to work 3 double crochets. So you're skipping this here double crochet, and then in between, in the next space, we're going to work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we want to work our single crochet in between the next 2 double crochets in that space. So just between those, we're working a single crochet. And now we want to work our 6 double crochets into this chain 2 space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is number 6. And then again, we're going to single crochet into that next chain 2 space. In the next one, we're going to work our 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, this is 3, this is number 4, 5, and 6. In that next chain 2 space, we're going to work our single crochet. In that next one, we're going to work our 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then in our next chain 2 space, we're going to work that single crochet. And then in that last chain 2 space, we're going to work our 6 doubles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to work a single crochet in between the next 2 double crochets in that space. Work a single crochet. And then in the next space, in between the next 2 double crochets, you're going to work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're just going to join with a slip stitch to that first double crochet that we did, the chain 3, the top of that chain 3. And that is round 8. Okay, our last round is 9. So you should have 10 of these like shells. And what we want to do now is we just kind of want to lay our bookmark flat like a triangle real quick. And what you're going to notice is the ends that have the 3 and 3 are going to be at the corners, at the ends there. And then you have your other 4 groupings right here of 6 double crochets. Those should be across from each other if that helps you, like that. And then just kind of flatten it just to give you a little work, just to help you a little. So now what we're going to do is take our hook and let's see. We're going to be working along the edge now, and we're going to skip this here row that we just worked, and we're going to work in the previous one. So now in the previous one we worked in between the spaces, and this was our first double crochet, a second double crochet, and this was that treble crochet. So we want to work around this here treble crochet. So we're going to work 6 double crochets around that treble crochet. So you're just going to yarn over, insert your hook around that post, and you can turn it over if you need to, and put it to the side and work your 6 double crochets. So this is 1, and you want to work 6. This is 2, and it's all around that post. This is 3, and this is 4, and this is 5, and number 6. Oops, that one got away, so I'm going to redo that one. So we just did 6 double crochets around that first treble crochet post. So now if you're looking at it, you can see the next grouping of treble crochets from the previous, or treble crochets and doubles from the previous row. So in the center there, right here, is that treble crochet. So 1, 2 double crochets here, 2 double crochets here on that side, and then right there in the center is that treble crochet. So we just want to pinch that up if it helps you. And we're just going to work, and you can turn it over again. And also what helps too is you can have it open like this, and we're just going to work a single crochet around that post. So you can also go like this. You know, this is a double, this is a double. So insert your hook in between that space and that treble. Go underneath that treble crochet and bring up your hook, and then work your single crochet around that post. So we just did a single crochet around that post. Now we're going to skip down to the next row, and you can see right here 1, 2, and then there's our treble, and then there's our other 2 doubles. So here's our treble we want to work around. So whatever works for you, if it's easier for you to turn it to the side, you can. Let me zoom in so maybe you can get a better view. So this is our next grouping. So see, there's my 1, 2, 1, 2, and there's my treble. So I'm just kind of finding that treble, pinching it, and then I'm going to work around it. So I'm just going to work my 6 double crochets around that treble. And once you have that first one, it's not so hard to do the others. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now looking at it again, or if it's just easier, you can work downward, but I like to make sure I'm going right below. So we just worked over this one. Here's our next grouping. There's our 2 stitches here, our 2 stitches here. There's my treble. I want to just work my single crochet. So I'm just inserting my hook under that post, tightening my tension a little, and then working my single crochet. And then again, we're going to do that again. So that's going to bring us to our next one. So there's my 2, and there's my other 2, and there's my post. So I'm going to work my 6 double crochets around this post. So 1, 2, 3, and this is 4, 5 and 6. And now we are going to single crochet around the next one. So there's our next little grouping. I don't know if I'm too close at all, if that makes it harder. But right here's our next grouping. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So right there's my center. So I'm just going to work my single crochet around that post. And then we have our last little one on this side. Right here's our center where we began. We want to work our 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So right there is my center, my treble crochet. So I'm just going to pinch that and work my 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and that's 4. This is 5, and this is number 6. And then we're going to start on the other side, but just so you can see what it looks like so far. Super cute. I'll zoom out so you can see. It's got that nice little trim. It is adorable. Okay, let's go back in. So now we're going to work on the opposite side, doing the same thing, just a little in the opposite direction. So now we're going to go, and we want to make sure that we're going just on the opposite. There's our little grouping of trebles. So 1, 2, there's my treble, there's my other 2. So I want to work with this treble crochet. So I'm just going to pinch it. Makes it a little easier, at least until I get my first stitch on there. And we're going to work 6 double crochets around that. So 1, 2, 3, that's 4, this is 5, and number 6. And then we want to go to our next grouping, which is right here. There's my 1, 2 double crochets, and then there's my treble. So I'm just going to insert my hook underneath that treble, pull my tension a little, it got kind of loose there, and I'm going to work my single crochet. And again, here's our next grouping. So there's my first double, second double, there's my treble. So I'm going to work my 6 double crochets around that treble. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5, and this is number 6. And then in our next little grouping, we're going to work our single crochet around the post of the treble crochet. So 1, 2 doubles, and then there's our treble. So we're just going to work our little single crochet. And then if you're looking at this, remember we had those 3 double crochets there, and we had them made in between the spaces. So there's our first double, our second double, and then there's this treble crochet. So we want to pinch that treble, and we want to work our 6 doubles around that treble. So go ahead and work your 6 double crochets around that treble. So 1, 2, 3, 6. And then we want to join with a slip stitch to this here first double crochet of this here last 3 double crochet grouping on this here round. So you can do it either by going like this and working a slip stitch like you normally would join rounds and then fasten off, or you can do a join from the back, which kind of gives it that like invisible join, or you can do an invisible join, or however your preference is. I'm going to join from the back, so what I like to do is just pull up that loop a little bit so I don't lose that stitch, and then I'm going to put that working yarn behind. And what I do is I take my crochet hook and I insert it into the stitch, but from the back to the front, and then I grab that loop that I took off my hook and put it back on my crochet hook, and I just pull that working yarn a little bit so it's not so big, and then I just pull it through, and that is it, just like that. And then I fasten it off. And then we're going to weave in our ends. So however you guys like to weave in your ends. Which I will do off camera because I don't want to bore you guys. And then of course you can flatten out your little bookmark. And then the edging is super cute. And then it looks like this when you put it inside a book, however many pages. Whoops. Let's see. Super cute. And then I can close it up. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.